and greetings once again to all of you Minutemen and Mutant Hounds of the Commonwealth. We are here today to take a quick look at some of the new features introduced with ENB 0.288 for Fallout 4. Specifically, we will be taking a look at bloom, lens effects, and dithering. So without further ado, let's get started. First, we'll be taking a look at ENB's bloom effect. ENB offers an alternate type of bloom, which has a softer and arguably more natural appearance. Here you can see I am toggling it on and off. And you can see with the effect enabled, there's a nice gentle glow to the bright areas of the screen. Now I will toggle off ENB completely to reveal the game's original bloom effect, then alternating between the original bloom and ENB's bloom effect. With the game's own bloom effect, you'll notice a soft halo is clearly visible around bright areas of the image. Here around the curve of the car, moving into the chrome highlights, and on the outer edge. And now when we switch ENB back on, you'll notice that the bloom has an overall softer feel, and there's no longer a visible light halo around bright areas of the screen. And I will toggle on and off the ENB bloom effect for the sake of comparison. Here again we see another example of the original bloom producing a distinct halo around the edge of the car, and again when we enable the ENB effect, we can see that the bloom has broader coverage and the haloing effect is no longer visible. Whether the ENB bloom looks better or worse than the original bloom is just a matter of opinion, really. Some users may prefer the distinct glow of the original bloom effect, while others may prefer the softer, more natural feel of ENB's bloom effect. Okay, let's take a look at how to enable the bloom effect for ENB 0.288 for Fallout 4. First, we're going to open our ENB menu by hitting Shift-Enter, and in the Effects section, you're going to want to make sure that you have Enable Bloom selected. And now I'm going to click to show my Shader Parameters window. And here we have a section called ENB Bloom.fx. And from the drop-down menu here, you're going to select either Single Pass or Multi-Pass Bloom. The Single Pass Bloom may be a little bit more performance-friendly, though bloom in general is not a very performance-hungry effect, so most users should have no problem using the Multi-Pass option. And to save your changes, you will want to hit the Save Configuration button. Now in our main ENB series menu, we have some additional controls for bloom. However, please note that the time of day parameters have not yet been implemented, therefore changing the value for daytime actually has no effect. However, if you change the amount for dawn, this will have an effect at all times. The night option here also seems to have the same effect, but the dawn parameter can be used to control bloom at any time of day. Please note that you'll also want to ensure that Use Original Bloom is set to false in order to use the ENB bloom effect. The next effect we'll take a look at today are ENB's lens effects. And Fallout 4 already ships with some fairly nice lens effects as seen here, and ENB adds to this with a customizable anamorphic lens flare effect. So let's take a look. And here you can see we have the blue horizontal lens flare effect emerging from the light source. And I'll move around a bit so you can see how that behaves. It layers fairly nicely on top of the game's own visual effects. In order to enable ENB's lens effects, first we're going to open up our ENB menu with Shift-Enter. And in this menu, you want to ensure that Enable Lens is selected. Then let's click to reveal our Shader Parameters window once again. And this time we are looking for the ENB Lens.fx section. Click to expand this, and then ensure that Multipass Lens is selected from the drop-down menu. And let's take a look at some of the other parameters that are available here. By default, the color of the lens flare is a deep blue. However, this can easily be changed to suit one's taste. You want hot pink, maybe a nice red. Let's take a look. Or, why don't we choose something a little bit more appropriate for Fallout with their radioactive green color. So let's go full on green and just a touch of blue. There we go. We can also change the contrast. Lowering the contrast essentially increases the breadth of the effect. So you'll see as I raise the value, it becomes tighter. And as I lower the value, it becomes broader. Alright, now we have our radioactive green lens effects. As I take a step back, you'll see that the lens effect does not only apply to the light source itself, but that it also extends to other parts of the image, as seen here. Notice as I toggle the effect on and off. In this way, this subtle effect can really add a lot of atmosphere to the game image. It's kind of spooky. It's also worth noting that the effect is not limited specifically to lamps and other discrete light sources. The lens effect can also be triggered by other light sources, like the bright daytime sky. In this scene, notice the blue hue that overlays the radio tower and other elements of the scene. This is actually lens flare from the sky overlapping these portions of the image. And here I will increase the intensity of the effect so that it is more clearly visible, even on elements such as the reflective hood of the turret. As the name suggests, this effect lends an overall filmic quality to the game image, as it looks more as though the image is being captured with a camera lens rather than with the naked eye. Much like ENB's bloom, the attractiveness of this effect is very subjective. Some users may enjoy it, while others may prefer a cleaner, unaffected image. To each his own. Alright, and the third and final effect we will be looking at today is dithering. I'm afraid that this effect is likely very difficult to see in a YouTube video due to the compression, as it is a very subtle but useful enhancement provided by ENB. The dithering effect is helpful in addressing issues of color banding in the sky. ENB's dithering effect helps to smooth these bends so they are much less noticeable, creating a smoother overall look for the sky gradient. While a very subtle effect, it's a nice tool to help achieve an overall cleaner game image and to make it more aesthetic and immersive. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for today, and as always, I want to thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and be sure to stay tuned for more updates about ENB and other graphics and performance mods for Fallout 4. Catch you next time.